Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gardner, could you tell me how much the average Amtrak ticket is subsidized?
Well, it depends on the
How about we use
route, for instance, on the Northeast Corridor, there's about a net operating surplus of about $10 per passenger. On state supported, it's a subsidy of about $16 per passenger, and on long distance, it's about $148 per passenger.
And so I just want to offer in 2019 on a per passenger mile, it's 35.6 cents. 35.6 cents subsidized. I'm not familiar with many of those freight industries, freight rails that are equally subsidized by taxpayers. But Mr. Gardner, I'm going to quote a New York Times article that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit for the record and seek unanimous consent to enter into the record.
No problem. Without objection.
So the New York Times reported in August that Stephen J. Gardner, an Amtrak executive, became the chief executive this year, received more than $766,000 in short-term incentive bonuses from 2016 to 2021, more than any other executive. Eleanor D. Atchison, the company's general counsel, received $727,000 over that period. End of quote. We've been discussing the bonuses received during this hearing. What I'd like to know, because you talked about metrics and incentivizing, what I'd like to know is what metrics you are measured against to consistently receive the bonuses that Amtrak, subsidized by taxpayers, is giving consistent with failure to turn a profit. Where's the New York Times wrong?
Well, first off, just to answer the question of consistency, that the program, of course, isn't consistent. We have not received bonuses many of the years that the program's been available because we failed
to... Mr. Gardner, I'm speaking about 2016 to 2021. In 2021, during the height of COVID, when thousands of families were either unemployed or sadly lost lives, like mine, what metric would you use to determine a $200,000 bonus is sufficiently acceptable for an industry subsidized by taxpayers?
In 2020, we suspended our bonus program. Executives like myself took a 22% pay cut for the entire year.
And so your answer is, Mr. Gardner, I have 5 minutes. Your answer is in 2021, since you sacrificed in 2020, 2021, $200,000 is sufficient.
No, the basis for the 2021 award was our financial performance, which beat our anticipated levels by working hard to do that. In
lowest ridership
and
lowest point of Amtrak ridership,
absolutely.
massive folks left on work sitting on the sidelines while many of your employees were working damn hard. I want to turn, because that to me frames my next line of questioning. Okay. In 2022, Amtrak's 2022 ADA progress report, Amtrak has fully managed to address its ADA responsibility at only 90 of the 387 stations where it's responsible for implementation. So as you know, in 1990, the Americans for Disabilities Act was established a 20-year time frame for intercity rail stations to be fully accessible for those with disabilities. Amtrak's appropriated $275 million for accessibility upgrades. And yet, in the Northeast Corridor, I can tell you my own experience in Dutchess County, Rhinecliff, New York, Amtrak should be ashamed of its lack of ADA compliance. In Hudson, New York, Northeast Corridor, Amtrak should be ashamed of its consistent failure to make ADA compliance. If you think this doesn't frustrate folks like us, it does. What commitment is Amtrak able to make today to fully fulfill the ADA requirement adopted in 1990, knowing that at the very least in the Northeast Corridor, in my part of the country, we have for now 2 generations been left with individuals in wheelchairs trying to find their way over active tracks?
Congressman, I share your passion for compliance of the ADA.
But not the outcomes, Mr. Gardner.
We have been working hard, and we have achieved significantly more progress than you've noted. So there are 110 fully compliant stations and 69 additional compliant stations with the exception of platform work. Much of the work that has been done to date was retarded by a lack of funding. That is now solved with the IIJA, which provides $1.2 billion for us to bring all of the facilities that we are responsible for, the roughly 380 you mentioned, into compliance. We will do that. The last project will be in 2028. We're working hard to achieve really good results. We'll have 39 additional projects completed by the end of this fiscal year. So we are on path to address this. One of the main issues is also the various ownership of these stations. We own a very small percentage of the stations, and we have to get.
Mr. Gardner, I appreciate my time is up, Mr. Chairman. I just would say I was quoting from your IG report, and it would be I would like to see the same kind of commitment to achieve the ADA compliance as you suggest.